Bryan Gaiser is an investment advisor representative of Advisory Alpha LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. All opinions expressed by Bryan Gaiser are solely his own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This recording is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Investment advisory and financial planning services offered through Advisory Alpha LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance, coaching, and educational services offered through Gaiser Financial Group. Gaiser Financial Group is a separate and unaffiliated entity of Advisory Alpha LLC. While tax and legal services may be discussed in the general course of financial and investment planning, Advisory Alpha does not provide tax or legal services. Please consult with your tax or legal professional prior to making decisions related to these issues. This material is not endorsed or approved by the Social Security Office or any other government agency. An annuity is a long-term financial product designed largely for asset accumulation and retirement needs. All guarantees are backed by the claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. All opinions expressed by externally cited sources are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. The case studies presented reflects the specific circumstances of one client and should not be considered a guarantee that another client or potential client may experience the same or certain level of results. This is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as investment recommendations or solicitation. Names have been changed to protect the anonymity of clients and are not testimonials in nature. Learn, grow, and take charge of your retirement. This is the Wealth Thru Wisdom podcast with financial advisor Bryan Gaiser, founder of Gaiser Financial Group.
Social Security is an important branch of income for all of us. We've been playing into the system. We want to know that that's going to now turn around and pay us back. Let's talk about some specifics because the most popular age to claim Social Security remains 62 years old. You might ask yourself, why so early with all of us living longer and working longer? Well, people fear the program is going to run out of money, even though we know that it won't. They need to maximize household benefits because one spouse is planning to stop working. There may be immediate needs to pay off debt or deal with financial emergencies. These aside, Bryan, what factors do you help somebody look at before they take Social Security in order to determine when they should do it?
I'd say the big thing is you just can't be focused on when do I take Social Security? That's a good question. So then you got to look at your big picture.
Okay.
And say, here's my big picture. Where does Social Security fit?
Okay.
See what I mean?
Yep.
It's just a piece of the big picture.
Yep.
Where does it fit? When does it make sense?
Okay.
I'm going to take it a couple of years before I stop working. Oh, you are? Well, you're going to stop working at 67 and you're going to take it at 65. Well, if that's the case, you can only make $23,400. And then if you did that, well, they'll start taking back $1 for every $2 you make over that of your Social Security you received that year. Mm-hmm. Well, when I retire, my wife and I will both take it. My wife's already retired. I said, what's making her wait? Well, if we take it, they'll take back that money. No, they don't. She's not working. It's only on your record. You see what I mean?
Okay.
So there's so many variables with Social Security. Yeah. That's number one. Okay. But number two, when is the best time relative to my situation? Kind of reminds me of a situation I dealt with one time a few years back. And this couple came in, I think he was 60 and she was 56, somewhere in that range when I first met them. And one thing he said, shoot, we looked at when's the best time to take, we're looking at Social Security, talking about Social Security. He said, boy, it'd be great if we could just both get, when I turn 66, both get my 70 amount for Social Security and her 70 amount. We'd be in great shape. But I don't know that we can wait. Would we be chewing into our money too much? I said, well, let's look at your big picture. What would it take? How much of a guaranteed income stream would it take in 6 years?
Yeah.
But where both of you are truly between Social Security and this guaranteed income stream to make up the gap between age 70, her being 62, him being 66, and get you both to a 70 amount, her 70 amount and your 70 amount with additional funds on the side. We figured out what that number was, put it in a guaranteed income vehicle, an annuity. And in 6 years, when he retired, took his Social Security. She retired at 62, took her Social Security. She was a teacher, so they got another extra pension in there.
Okay, good.
But she only worked 20 years, so it was a lower pension.
Okay.
So she gets that pension plus the pension we created, plus his Social Security, plus her Social Security. The four of those exceeded their 70 and 70 amount. And all the rest of their money was over here in their growth world, conservative growth and strong growth. But they had more income than they needed in retirement by a good margin, all at 66 and 62. He says, never thought of that. Never thought because her pension didn't quite get us there. So we needed even more money.
Okay.
So we got them to where they would have had both the total amount of their 70 and 70, but actually went over it by about $1,300 because things were really good.
Okay.
And the point I guess I'm trying to make is you got to think outside the box.
Right.
Well, you don't know how to think outside the box. You don't know all these different nuances that go with retirement and retirement income. But the bottom line is you got 3 areas that you got to beat. You got to get your income where it's surplus income in retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And then next, you not only have surplus income, you got to have a growth pot. And then you got to be able to fund protection, right? Health care, long-term care, knowing that you'll probably have to downsize one day. You got to think in terms of that. How much taxes do you pay on the home that you're selling? Well, you each get a $250,000 exclusion off this purchase price, plus any other big changes you made to that home over time. So in other words, that's tax-free money. When you retire, maybe you only need a third of it for a condo because you're simplifying, you get rid of the yard work. So there's all these things you got to think about. I know it's a lot, but that's what goes into choosing when you take Social Security. In their case, it was 62 and 66. We created the difference that we needed, plus some, so that they had surplus income in retirement. And then we knew we had this bucket over here. He actually went on his own and put together a fixed money, because money markets got high.
Yeah.
He put his own little $200,000 over here. Yeah. That's their fun bucket. Sure. And they take trips off of it, but it kind of replenishes itself too.
Okay.
So folks, you see what I mean? There's so many moving parts in retirement. The big thing you've got to do is go, how do I put all these pieces to the retirement puzzle together? That's what we do here at Gaiser Financial Group. There's a lot of things you just can't think of on your own. It's not just about the money. It's the big picture. How does the money work? How does Social Security work? How do the taxes work? That's what we go over when we sit down with you. We send you out an assessment. It's very simple, 5-10 minutes. You have it all filled out. It's not about account numbers. It's your big picture. And you come in ready to talk about your big picture. Give us a call, 336-586-5861. That's 336-586-5861. Give us a call. Love to sit down, talk about your big picture, and make your dreams come true.
Obviously, that's what folks need. They need to understand the big picture so they know how the individual pieces and parts that factor into the overall plan all work together to create the picture that they are painting for themselves, for their future, for the years ahead. Bryan, you and your team here to help folks do that. Again, it's 336-586-5861. Are there surprises for folks that you see when it comes to creating income and spending plans and Social Security? Are there common surprises that people maybe don't anticipate or they didn't think about?
Not one surprise.
No.
No,
nothing in life is a surprise.
There's always going to be I didn't think about, which we can call surprises, but I just didn't think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, life expectancy, if you have bad health, should I go ahead and take it? All of these kind of things you got to think about. How much does my money grow if I leave it alone? Because every month your Social Security gets a little more when you don't take a check, right? Mm-hmm. And you can take it at 62, and the latest you can take it at 70. So that's 96 choices you have to make. Mm-hmm. Oh, not going to take it this month. Not going to take it this month. Till one day you say, I'm going to take it this month.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
And so it's really not about Social Security. It's like, how much Social Security do I get? How is it taxed? Well, there's no state tax. Mm-hmm. That's a surprise. A lot of people don't know that. Social Security has no state tax, so that's nice. That's a little extra money in your pocket.
Okay.
In addition to that, worst case scenario, 85% of it is subject to federal tax. So in other words, 85% of the amount you receive could be subject to tax at your effective rate. Does that make sense? It's
a little complicated, a little terminology, but is that basically just on how much income you're getting elsewhere?
Well, it depends on, and there you go. You went to the right spot.
Okay.
So as you get income from other sources, you start out at 0 and it works its way up to 85%. It might land at 50% relative to your situation. Might land at 85%, might be 0. Today, standard deduction for 265-year-olds, they added 12,000 to it. 47,500 is standard deduction right now for last year in 25, 26, 27, and 28. The standard deduction for a couple that they're both at least 65 or older is 47,500.
Okay.
Means that first 47,500 you make is at 0.
Okay.
That increases also how much more of your Social Security you get to keep. So this is a great time for Roth conversions,
Okay.
things you might not have thought of. Because one day, here's the thing about Social Security, the larger goes to the surviving spouse for the most part, right? Depends on age.
Mm-hmm.
But in addition to that, you got to think about it this way, though. But that surviving spouse is now becoming a single filer when something happens to you.
Right. For taxes.
And a lot of people don't plan for that.
Yeah.
So I have folks that what they do is they buy guaranteed income to kind of replace and make up for that difference. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So they make up for that difference in thinking it through. Because the best thing you can do is make sure your entire retirement is set up on autopilot. Hey, my income stream comes in. It's more than we need. We pay for everything. We have money left over at the end of the month over and above the money we use to, live our dreams out, going on vacations and different things of that nature. If you can get yourself into that autopilot mode and understand your growth, it's autopilot too, but there'll be times where you can't touch it. There'll be times when it really does well. And what you want to do is sweep some of that over to your fund buckets, right? Sweep it over to the left, to your income world, just to keep building that cushion back, because there will be inflation, whether oil goes up to 100 a barrel or not.
Right.
So don't overthink things, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay. Folks, we help you look at your big picture. And this is the number, folks, 336-586-5861. Give us a call, 336-586-5861. Give us a call. I'm going to show you a lot of areas that you need to focus on in retirement, but I'm going to simplify it. I think most people want that.
Thanks for listening to the Wealth Thru Wisdom podcast. To learn more, visit geiserfinancial.com. Bryan Gaiser is an investment advisor representative of Advisory Alpha LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. All opinions expressed by Bryan Gaiser are solely his own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This recording is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Investment advisory and financial planning services offered through Advisory Alpha LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance, coaching, and educational services offered through Gaiser Financial Group. Gaiser Financial Group is a separate and unaffiliated entity of Advisory Alpha LLC. While tax and legal services may be discussed in the general course of financial and investment planning, Advisory Alpha does not provide tax or legal services. Please consult with your tax or legal professional prior to making decisions related to these issues. This material is not endorsed or approved by the Social Security Office or any other government agency. An annuity is a long-term financial product designed largely for asset accumulation and retirement needs. All guarantees are backed by the claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. All opinions expressed by externally cited sources are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Advisory Alpha. This is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. The case studies presented reflects the specific circumstances of one client and should not be considered a guarantee that another client or potential client may experience the same or certain level of results. This is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as investment recommendations or solicitation. Names have been changed to protect the anonymity of clients and are not testimonials in nature.